Welcome, aviation enthusiasts and history buffs, to Classic Duels, a captivating mini documentary series that takes you deep into the heart of real adrenaline pumping battles that unfolded in the skies during World War II. In this episode, we're in the skies above the Eastern Front in 1941-42, and we're going to talk about the deadly duels between the Messerschmitt Bf 109 versus the Yak-1 and Yak-7. The history of aerial combats during World War II is marked by numerous engagements between legendary aircraft. Among these was the Messerschmitt Bf 109, which was one of the Luftwaffe's primary fighters, and it frequently clashed with Soviet Yakovlev fighters. These engagements were part of a broader air war on the Eastern Front, which was characterized by intense and often desperate combat, as both sides sought air superiority. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 was a German fighter aircraft designed by Willy Messerschmitt and Robert Lusser in the 1930s. It was one of the most advanced fighters of its era, boasting a sleek all-metal monocoque construction, closed canopy and retractable landing gear. The Bf 109 was versatile, serving various roles such as an interceptor, escort fighter and a ground attack aircraft. Over 33,000 units were produced, making it one of the most widely used fighters of the war. The Bf 109's main strengths were its powerful Daimler-Benz engines, superior high-altitude performance and effective armament, which typically included machine guns and cannons. However, it was also known for its relatively short range and a narrow undercarriage, which made it tricky to handle during takeoff and landing. The Yak-1 was a Soviet fighter aircraft developed by Alexander Yakovlev and was one of the first new generation fighters designed for the Soviet Air Force during World War II. It was known for its robust design, ease of manufacture, and good maneuverability, which made it a formidable opponent at lower altitudes, but it was also a rather lightly armed aircraft. The Yak-7 started as a trainer aircraft, but evolved into a capable fighter. It shared many design characteristics with the Yak-1, but was slightly larger and heavier. The Yak-7 was more heavily armed than the Yak-1, making it effective in both air-to-air combat and ground attack roles. When Germany launched Operation Barbarossa in June 1941, the Luftwaffe faced a variety of Soviet aircraft. Early encounters between the Bf 109 and the Yak fighters highlighted the different strengths and weaknesses of each aircraft. The Bf 109s, particularly the more advanced F and G variants, had superior speed and high altitude performance. In contrast, the Yak-1 was more agile and had better low altitude performance, which was critical on the Eastern Front, where most dogfights occurred at lower altitudes. The German pilots often used their height and speed advantage to perform hit-and-run attacks, diving on the Soviet aircraft from above, then zooming away. The Soviet pilots, recognizing the limitations of their aircraft, tried to engage the Bf 109s in turning dogfights, where the aircraft's maneuverability could be used to full advantage. This tactic often proved successful, as the Yak-1 could outturn the Bf 109, especially at lower speeds and altitudes. The Yak-7, introduced in larger numbers in 1942, added a new dimension to the air war. Although initially designed as a trainer, it was heavier than the Yak-1 but had a more powerful engine and could carry more fuel and ammunition. This made it well suited for ground attack missions and extended dogfights, and the Yak-7's improved armaments made it a more formidable adversary for the Bf 109. Both sides faced significant operational challenges. The Luftwaffe had to deal with the vast distances of the freezing cold Eastern Front and the increasing numbers of Soviet fighters. The Soviet pilots, on the other hand, had to contend with the initial technical and tactical superiority of the German pilots and aircraft. However, as the war progressed, the quality of Soviet aircraft and pilot training improved significantly. Numerous aerial duels and dogfights between these aircraft types occurred throughout the war. For example, the Battle of Stalingrad saw intense air combat, where the Bf 109s and Yak fighters clashed repeatedly. Soviet ace Lydia Litviak, flying a Yak-1, famously engaged multiple Bf 109s and claimed several victories, becoming one of the most successful female fighter pilots of the war. As the war continued, both aircraft underwent numerous upgrades. The later variants of the Bf 109, such as the G and K models, featured more powerful engines and better armament. The Yak series also evolved, with the Yak-7B featuring improved aerodynamics and armament. Aerial combat between the Messerschmitt Bf and the Yak-1 and Yak-7 was a microcosm of the broader air war on the Eastern Front. While the Messerschmitt Bf was arguably the better aircraft, the outcomes of their engagements were often determined by the skill of the pilots and the specific conditions of the combat. As the war progressed, the increasing parity in aircraft technology and pilot training contributed to the Soviet Union gaining air superiority over the Eastern Front. So that's it for this glimpse into epic struggles of the past. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with more riveting tales of aviation history, etc. Check out 2 videos at the end, all my CD reviews, or even the playlist I've created. Cheers.